You know, we see them all the time, these beautiful, delicate insects fluttering by. We think we know them. But what if I told you that behind those colorful wings is a world of incredible superpowers, bizarre secret lives, and an importance to our planet that is just staggering? Today, we're going to completely change how you see butterflies.
So I've got to ask, think you really know butterflies? When you picture one, you probably think of something fragile, right? Just sort of floating around on a summer day? Well, let's just say we're about to shatter that image.
I mean, look at this. On one side, you have the perception. They're fragile, simple, just a pretty decoration. But the reality? The reality is so much cooler. We're talking about creatures that are super strong, incredibly complex, and absolutely critical to our ecosystem. And sometimes they can be downright deceptive and even parasitic.
Okay, so let's dive into their anatomy. And trust me, you can forget the idea of a delicate flower. We're really talking about the specs for high-tech superhero.
So, what's this number? 6,000. That is the number of lenses in a single butterfly eye. We have just one lens in each of our eyes. This gives them this incredible sort of superpower vision, letting them see a whole spectrum of colors we can't, including ultraviolet light. It's wild.
And they are fast, like shockingly fast. The skipper butterfly can hit speeds over 30 miles per hour. To put that in perspective, that's faster than a horse at a full gallop. Yeah, you are not outrunning this butterfly. No way.
Okay, this has to be one of the weirdest and coolest facts about them. They taste with their feet. No, really. They have these little chemical receptors all over their feet, so when they land on a plant, they can instantly taste it to see if it's good to eat or a safe place to lay eggs. Can you imagine tasting your dinner just by standing on it?
And the list of superpowers just keeps going. Those stunning colors on their wings? It's not paint, it's an illusion. Their wings are actually colorless, covered in tiny scales that bend light to create the colors we see. They also have an exoskeleton, basically wearing their skeleton on the outside for protection. And get this, they weigh about as much as 2 rose petals, but can carry 50 times their own body weight. That's like a person carrying a couple of cars. Incredible.
So, how do they eat? Well, their diet is all liquid, and they drink it through this amazing built-in straw called a proboscis. They drink nectar, of course, but they also get minerals from mud. And as we're about to see, they also drink some much stranger things.
All right, now we get to the really juicy stuff, their secret social life, because this is where their behavior goes from just interesting to totally bizarre.
You heard that right. It sounds like something out of a children's book, but it's a real scientific term. Male butterflies will gather together at mud puddles to drink up essential minerals, especially sodium. And yep, this little gathering is officially called a puddle club.
And that need for sodium drives them to do some pretty wild things. In the Amazon, some butterflies get their salt fix by drinking turtle tears right from the turtle's eye. Others will land on animals and literally soak up nutrients from open wounds. And some have figured out how to just trick other insects into feeding them.
And this is like something out of a spy movie. A parasitic butterfly larva will sneak into an ant nest. Then it starts mimicking the sounds and even the smell of the ant queen. It's so convincing that the worker ants get totally confused. They abandon their own queen and start feeding and protecting the imposter caterpillar instead. It's a complete takeover of the entire colony.
But hey, it's not always so sinister. Some butterflies have worked out a much friendlier deal. They have a symbiotic relationship where ants will actually act as bodyguards for the caterpillars, protecting them from predators in exchange for a sweet nectar the caterpillar produces. So, sometimes they're enemies, and sometimes they're best friends.
But for all their incredible strength and clever tricks, butterflies are living on a razor's edge. Their existence is unbelievably fragile, and it's tied directly to the health of our planet. And this visual says it all. The iconic monarch butterfly. In North America, its population has absolutely plummeted. We've lost 90% of them, 90%, in just the last 25 years. It's mostly due to habitat loss and climate change. It's a truly devastating decline. And a big reason they're so vulnerable is because they're so specialized. They're cold-blooded, so if the temperature drops below about 55 degrees Fahrenheit, they can't move, they can't fly. Some are also incredibly picky eaters. A female might only lay her eggs on one specific type of plant. If that plant disappears, her entire lineage is at risk. Add to that, many only live for a few weeks, some for just a single day. There's just no room for error. It's a grim picture, I know, but it's not hopeless. Not at all.
In fact, it turns out that one single person can make a huge difference. There's this incredible true story about a man in San Francisco who noticed that a local butterfly species had completely vanished from his area.
So he looked it up, found the one specific plant that the butterfly needed to survive, and he planted it in his backyard. That's it. From that one small sanctuary, he managed to bring the entire local population back from the very brink of extinction. It's just an amazing reminder of what's possible.
So, with all that said, why does this matter so much? I mean, beyond them being beautiful and fascinating, why should we care so deeply about protecting them? Well, it turns out their role in our world is way bigger than most of us ever imagined.
Just take a look at this. We all know how important bees are, right? Well, right after bees, butterflies are the most important group of pollinators on the planet. They are absolutely essential for healthy ecosystems, which, directly impacts our food supply. A world without butterflies would be a much, much hungrier world.
And their connection to their environment is so precise, it's almost unbelievable. Get this, there's a certain type of plant that tends to grow over disturbed soil, like where a grave has been dug. And there's a specific butterfly that's attracted to that specific plant. So forensic teams can actually use the presence of these butterflies as a clue to find hidden graves. How incredible is that? So let's bring it all together. We started with this image of a simple, fragile insect, but what we've actually uncovered is a creature that's super strong, hyper-aware, and has a complex and sometimes devious social life. They're part superhero, part con artist, and a complete cornerstone of our ecosystem.
Which really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Knowing all of this now, knowing how complex, how vital, and how fragile they truly are we doing enough to protect them? That's something to think about.